What if America had watched the war from across the ocean? In our timeline, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, dragging the United States into World War II. The next day, Congress declared war. Germany and Italy declared war on the United States shortly after. But what if Pearl Harbor had never happened? What if America had remained an arsenal for democracy, supplying weapons but never sending its own soldiers? In the 1930s and early 1940s, many Americans wanted no part in another European war. The memory of World War I's trenches was still fresh. Isolationists argued that the oceans protected the United States and that foreign wars were not America's problem. Without Pearl Harbor, President Franklin D. Roosevelt would have struggled to convince Congress and the public to enter the conflict. Without American troops, the war in Europe becomes much harder for Britain and the Soviet Union. The United States still sends weapons, tanks, and supplies through Lend-Lease, but no American soldiers land at Normandy. Britain holds on, protected by the Royal Navy and RAF. The Soviet Union bears the heaviest burden, fighting Germany mostly alone in the east. In our timeline, D-Day on June 6, 1944, opened the Western Front with American, British, and Canadian forces. Without the United States, a cross-channel invasion is much smaller or never happens. Britain might launch limited raids, but liberating France would be nearly impossible. Germany could shift more forces east, making Stalin's advance slower and far bloodier. Without Pearl Harbor, Japan might never attack the United States at all. Its goal was to seize European colonies in Asia, while America was neutral. Japan conquers Southeast Asia, Indonesia, and parts of China. The British, Dutch, and Australians fight alone. America supplies weapons, but keeps its fleet in Hawaii, watching cautiously as Japan builds its empire. The Manhattan Project still exists in this timeline. American scientists race to build the atomic bomb, but without war, the urgency is lower. If the bomb is completed, the United States possesses the ultimate weapon while staying officially neutral. Would America use it? Threaten Germany? Deter Japan? The atomic bomb becomes a diplomatic tool rather than a weapon of war. Even without American troops, Germany is unlikely to win. The Soviet Union is too large, too determined, and too cold. But defeating Germany takes years longer. Berlin might fall in 1946 or 1947 instead of 1945. By then, the Soviet Union controls all of Eastern Europe and possibly parts of Central Europe. Western Europe is exhausted and dependent on Britain. With the United States on the sidelines, the Soviet Union dominates continental Europe. France, Italy, and possibly even West Germany fall under communist influence or direct Soviet control. Britain stands alone as a capitalist democracy, but is too weakened to resist Moscow's expansion. The Iron Curtain moves much farther west than it did in our timeline. Without American intervention, Japan's empire survives longer. China remains divided and exhausted. Australia and India face constant threat. Eventually, Japan overextends itself, and local resistance grows. But without American island hopping and atomic bombs, the Pacific War becomes a long, grinding conflict that could last into the 1950s. A longer war means more time for Nazi atrocities. Without American and Allied pressure from the West, the Holocaust and other Nazi crimes continue longer. Liberation comes from the East, when Soviet troops finally reach the death camps. The full horror is exposed later, and millions more may be lost. This is the darkest cost of American neutrality. By staying out of the war, the United States remains militarily and economically powerful, but politically isolated. It watches as Europe and Asia are reshaped by others. American influence in the post-war world is much smaller. The dollar does not become the world's reserve currency. The United Nations is weaker. America is rich, but it is not a global superpower. This alternate timeline shows why American entry into World War II mattered so much. American power did not just defeat enemies faster, it shaped the post-war world. Without it, totalitarianism would have spread further, democracy would have been weaker, and the world we know today would be far more dangerous. Neutrality had a heavy price. World War II transformed the United States from a regional power into a global superpower. It created the alliances, institutions, and economic systems that defined the second half of the 20th century. Imagining America staying out helps us understand how much that decision cost and how much it gave the world in return.